So we are here to learn from our past mistakes. So when we covered the X-Files, or should I say when I originally covered the X-Files, I thought it would be fun to cover it episode by episode. What a mistake that was. Nobody cared.
A couple people cared.
There were a few.
And we're sorry that we stopped for those people.
We got through 7.5 seasons. But actually, I would say 6.5 seasons.
Yeah.
Because we did like half of season 7.
Yeah.
Is that how you would say that? But we are going to do one last video. We're not going to leave you hanging, but it is not going to be satisfying for people who wanted one. Anyways, that's not what we're here to talk about. What we're here to talk about is Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Yay! Now, The X-Files was a show that I grew up on and had watched a bunch of sporadic random episodes that were syndicated and playing on loop at night, and I would check out those episodes here and there. But I had never watched the show from beginning to end, and there's 217 episodes of X-Files. I probably hadn't seen 100 plus of them.
Yeah.
So it was very cool to go through, and also really not cool because the show honestly is not that good. There's great episodes, and I love the show, but we'll talk about it there.
Check out that video to come.
Buffy, on the other hand, is a show I've seen every single episode of, but I've only seen every episode like once or twice. So this is kind of different, where I've seen every episode, but only once or twice. And the other show, I had seen some episodes many, many times.
Yeah.
So it's like a completely different thing here.
I grew up on both shows. Definitely watched a lot of X-Files.
Have you seen every Buffy episode?
I have. I've seen every Buffy episode.
Okay. I didn't
and know. I have seen definitely seasons 4 and 5 like multiple times.
Okay.
I had those on DVD, and so I would watch those like kind of like a comfort show. I'd put them on pretty repeatedly. And then the other episodes I've seen, at least 2 times. If not, maybe 3. But at least twice, probably.
I haven't seen anything past season 3 since it aired.
Wow.
So
that's
we
crazy.
watched season 1 through 3 with our kids a couple years back, and my daughter came to us maybe halfway through season 3.
Really? We got that far?
We were into season 3 for sure, because Oz was in there.
Are you sure?
I'm almost positive.
I didn't think we got that far. I thought we got into like maybe halfway through season 2.
No, I'm pretty sure we got to season 3. Regardless, whatever we got to,
wow.
My kid came to me and said, I quote, I don't want to watch Buffy anymore. There's too much naked kissing.
Yeah.
And so we decided to put it on a hiatus.
We did. They're older now and more into the naked kissing, I guess. No. They're just older now, and so they maybe won't feel as awkward. It's fine.
Yeah.
I was watching this show, like, I guess I don't know how old I was when I started watching it. I want to say I was probably around their age now, though. I was probably like 11 or 12.
This show was
watching
perfect for me because this show really lines up generationally with me. This show came out in 1997, and they're sophomores in high school from what I can tell. They're 16. I'm pretty sure they're supposed to be sophomores because I think season 2 is junior year, and I think season 3 is
senior year. Yeah, because in 4 they go to college.
I'm pretty sure that's accurate. And I was a sophomore in high school in 1997, so this is like perfectly lines up.
This was a show that was definitely on, like, that I remember watching in the late 90s and early 2000s, but then I don't think I started watching it, like, actually paying attention more to episodes. But I don't know, though, because I didn't really get a chance to watch it, like, as it was airing, obviously, because I was too young to really be, like, locked in watching it as it was airing. But there were times that I would catch it while it was airing, so I would watch it then. You know what I mean?
I mean, I'd heard of it. It was a pretty popular show in high school. But I always just thought of it because I'm not a vampire guy. I find vampire movies and shows and stuff typically to not be my thing. and because it was like a girl that was the vampire slayer, and I saw the movie, the Christy Swanson film, I was like, this isn't gonna be for me. And so, you know, it looked kind of hokey to me when I would ever see advertisements for it on television, and I was like, oh, that's a girl show. Like, I thought it was like a girl show. And then I started dating a girl who was super in love with the show, and so we caught up on the seasons, and then we watched the seasons as they aired. We'd like put the VHS tape in the VCR and set a timer, and like 5 minutes before and 5 minutes after, when we were like at work or whatever, to come home to Buffy episodes. And yeah, I mean, I was blown away. You know, when we started watching it, I was like, okay, yeah, like this is like kind of cheesy in certain ways. Like, I can definitely tell people would watch this today and be like, this is dated, this is a little hokey, this and that. But the characters are so strong, and I feel like the through line is actually really interesting.
Yes.
Unlike the X-Files, where the through line is god awful, and it doesn't just rely on Monster of the Week episodes. Like, I'm actually interested, and we're going to talk about episodes here. But yeah, I just, having now watched the first season probably 3 or 4 times, I can't help but like be so impressed with what I thought this was originally versus what it actually is. So these are the kinds of shows, it's like, you just got to give them shots, see how they are. And this isn't going to be for everyone. Anybody who's like a hardcore horror fan and is like only likes super gory things and doesn't like any tongue-in-cheek kind of winky humor or anything like that, they're going to hate this shit.
Yeah, it's I mean, this show is definitely the most influential TV show I watched growing up. Yeah. Like, X-Files was very important to me too, because I have a lot of like memories of watching it in my parents' bed and like late at night. But this was the show that like I was really into, and I feel like it shaped a lot of like my interests to come. It really lined up with a lot of things that I was interested in. It was something that I was like watching and kind of impacted me with, it sounds crazy, but like I was getting interested in like Wicca and stuff around the age that I was like watching Buffy, and it had an impact on that, like on like wanting, you know, because it was very aesthetically pleasing to me. And not that I think that Buffy necessarily has any, like, they definitely have times, like, they talk about, like, Wiccans and stuff, and, like, they draw from, like, real-life things, I suppose, but it's very much fantasy. This show, and then, to a lesser extent, Charmed did the same thing, but I didn't watch as much of Charmed as I did of Buffy. But yeah, I never had any preconceived notions about it. It kind of just, like, instantly appealed to me. I think it's one of those, like, you know, shows that, you know, having, like, a strong female character. But Buffy's, like, so much more than that. She's such a, like, believable 16-year-old protagonist, which I really remember, like, and now watching it, too, even as an adult, like, as a, you know, 30-year-old woman, it's so important that it's, like, she has all this responsibility thrust on her, and there's this constant balance of her trying to be the 16-year-old, trying to be the teenager, while also having to be like mature and responsible for something that she never asked for. And like as the show progresses, it really just has so much character development, and it shapes her in such important ways, and I think that the show is fantastic for that. And then obviously like all the other characters around her, like, you know, one thing that the X-Files does well as well is that they have very memorable characters. You know, obviously, you know, Mulder and Scully are icons, and you know, even like the lone gunman and Skinner and everybody, like they're, you know, you remember them for a reason. But there's so many episodes where it is just like focused on the through line story, like we said, that we hated. But with this, it's like even the side characters end up having like important things to do with like the main plot for each season. So
there's a lot more connective tissue as well with this show. in its Monster of the Week episodes. X-Files would kind of tap their toe in that every once in a great while, but it always felt like to me that X-Files would do this thing where all of the Monster of the Week episodes felt like alternate reality things, where those episodes didn't really happen. Like, they kind of did, they kind of didn't. They're like loose canon.
Because characters wouldn't really have a change from those episodes.
No.
And they would...
Scully would have, like, these big moments where she'd see something unexplainable, and then the next episode she'd just be right back to the skepticism of the last episode. And it's just... that would become very frustrating and annoying. And with Buffy, like, throughout this season specifically, since this is the one most fresh in our minds and the one we just watched, there is references to things that happen in past episodes, no matter how, like, unimportant they may seem to the overall arching storyline, that get mentioned all the time.
And that's so good because it's
great.
Yeah, it's the world building of it.
Yeah.
Where it's like, you know, Miss Calendar is like, I helped
every
you put
episode
that...
matters.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Like they relate back to things, and I really love that too.
What it shows is a cohesive vision and writer's room.
Yes, the writing in the show is definitely the top tier for me. I think that it's just like, and yeah, you're right, it's dated. Like, one of the fun things of watching the show is that it feels so 90s, and like, I mean, not only is the fashion like ultra 90s, like peak 90s, which is what makes it so great, because I mean, I was watching this in like the mid 2000s, right? So I was like, it's pretty close, but still, it was still like, oh, the 90s, like, what cool fashion. And now it's even better to see it because it's just like very nostalgic.
Shit, all the kids today should be loving this shit.
Yeah, well, because this is definitely like a new, well, at least right now, it's a style that's making a comeback. But the way people talk to each other too, like Cordelia especially, well, all of them, they all just have the funniest like little like phrases that they say that are so... They are cheesy, they are very 90s, but they're really fun, and I love it. Like, one of my favorite things, Cordelia is like, she's like, what's your childhood trauma? As like an, you know, like an insult when I think it's, I don't know, probably Buffy that does something, but just funny things like that nobody says anymore. Very nostalgic to watch the show and hear it.
Yeah, one surprising development when announcing that we were watching this show on my Facebook group, my two Buffy friends in there, Chris Snyder and Wyatt Terwilliger, they both kind of surprised me, especially Wyatt, who I really respect the opinion of, and I line up with very, very often on most opinions with film and television. They were both remarking on how amazing Angel, the TV series, is, and I've never seen a single episode of that show.
Neither have I.
And here's something that's kind of frustrating and probably makes me look like an asshole now, but years ago, I've been sent stuff over the years on this channel. I don't get sent stuff anymore. I used to get boxes and boxes, but ever since Kaylee came around, people stopped sending stuff. That's true. I don't know why that was. They're like, he has a girl now. He doesn't need anything. But pre-Kaylee, I used to get literally boxes of shit. Alex from Beyond the Void.
Oh, yeah.
The amount of fucking movies that guy gets sent and books and stuff is crazy. Thousands of dollars worth of shit all the time. He's always posting some video being like, here's all this shit I got. And it's like, oh my God, it's crazy. But someone sent me every episode, all the seasons of Angel. And I was like, I had no interest, even though I love this show. Angel's not a character I particularly care for.
I'm like,
so it's
really...
pretty shocking
that is.
That Wyatt is like, not only is it good, it's better than Buffy. And that, like, when I went to IMDb and looked at the reviews for it, most of them were like, it's more like adult and has better themes and whatever than Buffy. It's a better show. And I'm
I'm
really?
super curious about it because I have never been an Angel fan, like, ever. Every time I watch it, I just don't like him. I'm a Spike girl. That is like my favorite character. But but I'm really trying, like, on this watch through to give Angel, like, another chance, especially after hearing that the Angel show is so good, because I'm like, okay, I don't want to, like...
I don't hate him. He's just kind of dull.
I know, he's just boring and lame to me, but...
He's Edward Cullen.
No, Edward Cullen to me is better. I don't know. I'm
just
trying.
So flat.
I'm trying. I think that he makes a lot of sense, especially in this first season. Like, he is a very handsome man. He is like this, it's the tall, dark, handsome vampire. Yeah. And you've got the vampire slayer, and so like that forbidden romance, let's say, like, of course it makes sense. I don't dislike that part. Yeah. I just find him to be very boring because he doesn't really have much of a personality especially in this season, and I feel like that's the case throughout the rest of the show. Like, we're
upsetting some Angel stans.
I'm sorry, but we can't even talk about Spike yet because he's not in the show yet. But by contrast, right, like, that's the personality. So anyway, but all the other characters, like,
Angel's much better to her than Spike is.
Yeah, no, I'm not
Spike's
saying
an asshole.
Yeah, I know.
You just like that.
I know. I'm not saying that.
What does that say about me? Why are you laughing like that? I'm not an asshole.
No,
he's
not. He's
not. Says me. Right?
Don't ruin the night.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, if we're gonna say our favorite characters and who our crushes are now with Spike Girl.
I'm saving my, like, fan and girling for when he was, like, introduced.
Well, my character's in this season, and that is Willow.
Yeah, I mean, I love Willow,
Allison
too.
Hannigan
She's one of my
is just one of the most adorable women to ever grace this earth, and she is so fucking cute in this movie. And it was funny to be like...
In this movie?
Or in this show. We were talking about movies. It was funny to kind of go from this because we just finished the X-Files like last week with the girls, and I was just, as always, kind of obsessing over Scully the whole time. And then we went on to this, which is kind of a good counterpart to this show, right? And it was like, oh, another redhead.
Yeah.
I like them redheads.
I love Willow, though. I mean, Willow is definitely one of my favorites, and we would talk about, like, the influence too, like in seasons 4 and 5, like when she gets really in, which the Wicca parts, right?
Let's not get too far ahead, yeah.
But yeah, I love all of them though. I think that Xander is so funny and so ridiculous.
He is, but he also is a very frustrating character.
He's frustrating, but
he's a 16-year-old boy.
Yes,
that's what you.
Well, he's a 27-year-old man technically,
yes.
but
yes.
We were laughing about the ages.
All of them are in their like
Cordelia
mid-20s.
Straight up looks like a mom and/or teacher, though. Yeah. Like, we were laughing.
She's
so much
the
about
oldest
that.
of them. She's actually, I think, older than or. She's the same age or older or something than Miss Calendar.
Yeah. Okay, I will also say this. The makeup style of the 90s, that, like, especially with what they put Cordelia in, does make her look, like, mature. You know what I mean? Whereas, like, makeup styles now, like, a lot of girls, I mean, you can definitely have, like, the, like, full face of makeup that makes you look, like, 10 years older. Yeah. But there's a lot more focus on, like, more youthful, like, natural kind of makeup. Whereas I feel like this show does a lot of the, like, just 90s style makeup, which tends to make you look a little bit older.
Yeah.
But yeah, Xander's frustrating, but I love him. I think he's very important. All of them are very important. Like, all of their dynamic works so well.
Yeah.
It kind of reminds me, honestly, of, like, Ron and Harry and Hermione. Like, it's the same thing. Like, they've got that golden trio. But then you also have Giles, who's just Giles.
Wonderful,
I mean, he's so wonderful. And even Cordelia, like, she's so annoying and you just want to punch her the whole time, but, like, she's also so funny because she's so conceited and full of herself, and it's just great. It's great to have this, like, school bully / like, sometimes ally character,
Yeah, different than Draco, if we're talking about
very
Harry,
very different.
Yeah, she's kind of part of the group and kind of
especially
not.
by the
she
end
comes
of the
in and out.
season.
Yeah, I mean, she becomes a part of the group later. But in this first season, she is in and out. But she's just funny. I mean, she's that character you kind of love to hate.
Yeah.
And she plays it very well. She's And she has some good, like, character moments
Yeah.
where she does kind of open up about her popularity and how lonely it is to be her and this and that. So she's not completely devoid and one-dimensional. There is something there. And when she starts, like, dating Xander and whatnot later, we'll get there. But that's in, I think that's in season 2. Yeah, she definitely has more to her than that. As far as Buffy herself, Sarah Michelle Gellar.
I mean, come on, what can you say?
She looks the youngest. I think she is the youngest. I want to say she is 20 in this.
Okay, yeah.
As opposed to, like, Willow, who's 23, and Xander, who is 26, and then Cordelia is I had to look up her age somewhere else because it doesn't say it on IMDb, but I think she's also like a year even older than that, because Miss Calendar is she's around the same age. I think she might even be younger, but regardless, anyway. Yeah, I mean, Buffy plays the like tough girl, vulnerable girl, school girl, hardened vampire slayer hunter mix very well.
So well. I feel like all aspects of her. She does such a great job with her performance.
Yeah.
Her mom too is wonderful, obviously. But yeah, and like all the outfits that Buffy's in, they like dress her so cute. I mean, Willow has really cute outfits. Like, they start off dressing her like really frumpy, but then like as like this like series progresses, like she just gets like cuter and cuter outfits. But Buffy's just always like, because she's supposed to be stylish. Like, she was this popular girl, you know, when she was at school in LA, and like that's still a part of her personality, and she very much is like, you know, likes makeup, likes boys, likes all these things that like 16-year-old girls are like supposed to like, so to speak.
One thing that surprised me on this rewatch, because we just watched Buffy the Vampire Slayer the movie not too long ago with the kids, and I don't even remember why we did.
It was because we were watching our mystery marathon vampire movies, and so we watched that.
So yeah, we watched that with the girls, and I was pretty surprised to realize that this show is actually kind of supposed to be a sequel to that, sort of. Now, I've looked this up, and there's like a lot of back and forth, and I know Joss Whedon, the creator of the show, says it isn't canon. But then they write in all of this stuff that kind of makes it canon, which was kind of odd when we were watching it, where she was like, my high school burned down, and like, you know, I was hunting vampires there. It wasn't like this is a new thing. No, where she comes to school and Giles is like, you're a vampire hunter, and like, no, she already knows. She's already been hunting vampires. So they talk about the dance that she went to. Yeah. They talk about events that took place in that film. It's interesting. So it's like it's loose canon.
It's a very loose canon, because like the whole reason that they moved to Sunnyvale is because Sunnydale, sorry.
No, I almost called it Sunnyvale
Sunnydale,
too, weirdly.
Is because that she was like getting in trouble at school, like getting in trouble, and it was because she was burning down the gym and killing vampires and stuff. So yeah, that is really interesting. I never realized it before, because I had never seen the movie before.
Oh, right. So, I had only seen it, but when it came out, so I had no memory of it.
Yeah, I like it, though. I like that it, like, you know, even though supposedly it doesn't tie in, like, you can kind of make it work a little bit in your mind. It gives, like, a little bit of, like, a backstory to, you know, before.
Yeah, I consider it loose canon.
Yeah.
Like, take from it what you want, and leave whatever else, right? Like, the actress, of course, is part of it, and then I don't know. I feel like it fits fine.
Yeah.
Like, I don't see any reason. If it was Sarah Michelle Gellar, then it would totally be canon. I wish it was, to be completely honest. That would be very cool to have the movie, and then you go into the show, and it's a continuation of that movie. Mm-hmm. I don't think maybe every single thing fits.
No, like Pike can not be a part of it, maybe.
Pike and Spike. Yeah, so, you know, no need to fight with us in the comments. Like, no, it's not even remote. Like, no, it definitely has some loose connections to it. So that's kind of surprising. But regardless, yeah, Sarah's great.
Yes. She's fantastic.
And then the whole Scooby gang, everyone there is great. Angel's just a character that I'm just kind of lukewarm on. I'm not huge into him. I don't hate him. The one thing that is really stupid and silly, and I find it to be funny because they don't play it very well in this show, is the whole Angel doesn't have breath thing.
He's always running around and like
huffing and puffing. He literally tells, so like in the last episode, not to jump ahead too much, but Buffy dies, and thank God for Xander. Xander's the one that Buffy only exists for the rest of the show because of Xander. Xander's the one that goes and grabs Angel, literally holds him at cross point, and is like, "You're gonna help me," and they leave. They're all gonna just let her go die. And Xander's like, absolutely not, we're going. And so he gets Angel to help him. They find her, she's dead, which we've heard that that's actually not death when you get drowned.
Well, like, her heart didn't necessarily stop.
But Angel says she's dead. So whatever.
Angel says
dead.
she's dead. She's dead.
She's dead. This is what
he would like know. He would be like,
this is what calls faith. Spoilers.
Right.
But anyway, so then he's like, this is one of the funnier parts of the whole first season for me, is he's like, you're gonna have to do it. I don't have breath.
Yeah, it's very, very funny.
And I'm like, bro, you're literally breathing. You're literally breathing.
All I could say, because like, I mean, he's been around for like, isn't he like he's 240 years old or something?
Which that's a whole nother can of worms that we need to talk about.
But I was just gonna say, like, he's just like, I don't know, like but Edward Cullen has to like make himself like look like he's breathing.
Yeah,
like, that's a whole thing in Twilight,
it's like
where they're
muscle memory.
like we have to like pretend like we breathe, because otherwise like people will notice, like they'll notice something's off with you, kind of thing, which is true. Like if somebody like was not breathing, like was just totally still, you'd be like, what is going on?
I can buy that.
That's all I'll say, is that he's just like trained himself. To like breathe.
Question. If you can't breathe, how do you make it look like you're breathing? The only thing that
muscles.
How?
Like he just
how can you?
I don't know.
Like
He can use his muscles to like contract.
He's literally breathing though when he talks.
I know.
So, is it that he doesn't need to breathe, but he's literally taking oxygen in? See, okay, here's the thing though that's more interesting about this to me, is in reality, here's me being me as always, in reality, if he really is just feigning the ability to breathe, and he's taking oxygen in and pushing it out without actually having to filter it through his lungs, because his body doesn't actually need it, and he's just doing it as like a ruse, and he's just like, oh, I gotta put this on to keep up with appearances.
He should have like
pure oxygen coming out, right? Because he's not breathing out carbon dioxide. He's breathing out oxygen because it isn't used. So he would actually be a better ventilator for somebody to breathe into, because you're breathing carbon dioxide into them. He'd be breathing actual oxygen, right?
You're right, but
I don't know, because he is breathing. He's 100% breathing like it in.
Yeah, definitely just us like overthinking. I know for sure, but it is very funny. We were laughing about it, and
could you even talk without pushing breath out? I think, like, in order to talk, you're breathing out. If it's magical,
you can.
Right? Am I crazy on that? You need oxygen. Like, you need to breathe out to talk?
Vampire,
Am I crazy?
You're crazy. Because he's a vampire, so it's supernatural.
I get that, but isn't that not real? Isn't that not true? That we need to expel something from our lungs? That's like the challenge where people are like, let all of the air out of your lungs and then try to scream. Here, let's do it. It's nothing that comes out because you have to expel oxygen to push out the sound, right?
Yeah. Okay, it's supernatural, so he just has like demon powers letting him speak. Okay,
I think he's taking oxygen in. I just don't think he takes it into his lungs.
Okay, or that. The other funny thing that we were laughing about a lot this season, it became like a joke, was how many jackets he has.
No, you and the kids were.
Yeah,
sure.
we were just joking about it. He's a lot of different like jackets, and like mostly it was because there's like an episode where he gives Buffy like his jacket, and then she's like wearing it throughout the episode, and we were just joking about how he always has a new jacket.
No, yeah.
So that was fun.
So let's talk about some episodes really quick. So that's kind of our overall thoughts about, the show in general. We're of course going to talk more as it goes on. First episode, Welcome to the Hellmouth. This is our introduction to everybody. This is when the Scooby gang gets together. This is the introduction of this one character played by what's his fucking name? Eric Belfer, who plays Jesse, who's an actor that has been in a ton of things. I actually watched an entire television series based on a Stephen King novel called Haven, where he was a main character for all 5 seasons. And then, of course, he's in 2003's Texas Chainsaw Massacre. He's kind of like the first kid turned
This is kind of like, it starts to show like the pattern where like anytime a student that's not one of them like is a part of the episode,
as soon as they start talking to somebody like they know him,
something's gonna happen. They're either gonna die or like they're gonna have something happen to them. It's very funny.
This is the Law and Order thing where like
you see the famous actor and they're like, oh, that's the killer.
This is 100%. Yeah. This happens every time. Anytime they all of a sudden know someone,
they're like, oh yeah.
They're like, oh hey, what's his name? Jesse. They're like, hey Jesse, and I'm like, oh, Jesse's fucked.
And he is. He does get killed in a very funny way. He actually gets like knocked into the stake that Xander's holding. He like starts to give him a speech, and then like some girl runs by and like just accidentally bumps him into it. Very anticlimactic way to die.
We were also talking about the fact that not only should the Bronze be shut down, but also Sunnydale High School. The amount of bodies that start piling up in those places.
So many.
They have a fumigation party at the Bronze, and I was like, what are they fumigating? The dead bodies in the basement?
Literally. Yeah, the Bronze starts to get so many, like, it's crazy. But
it gets held hostage by vampires.
Yeah, but they're just like, that was a gang.
Yeah, and then they, like, Giles points out, like, people kind of rationalize things in any way that they can digest it. Like, even though they saw vampires, they all just go, well, it must have been something else.
But like everyone in this town, especially like after a point, although I feel like because it's the Hellmouth, like stuff has been like, it's that, the center of like mystical convergence or whatever that they talk about. So it's like stuff has been happening in that town. But then like it kind of just starts to amp up like once Buffy gets there. But it's like people would be like noticing things.
One thing I was confused on, and you didn't seem to have an answer either, and I don't really know what it is how the Master is trapped.
I don't remember what the explanation was about, like, who trapped him. I know we get one from, like, Giles at some point, probably early on.
Because I know with Angel,
But there's, like, a force field that's, like, holding him down there. There's some spell.
Yeah.
And obviously the prophecy has to go through in order for him to escape. Like, he essentially needs to open the Hellmouth.
But he's really not the threat, per se. It's the fact he's opening up hell.
Right,
and
it's all the other things.
That, like, there's some Blair monster from the Thing that comes out, and it's like one of these demons that's going to wreak havoc on the planet and kill everybody and whatever.
Well, he's also supposed to be, like, a really powerful vampire.
He is,
like,
but,
he can kind of, like, do Jedi or Sith,
he's
like,
taken
tricks.
out pretty easily.
Oh, yeah.
And so for me, it's like, the real threat is the demons of hell, right, being unleashed onto the world.
That's like the idea is that he's bringing about the apocalypse, right. Like, so it's like he's not like the devil, but like everything else that's coming out is going to destroy the earth. Yeah. So
I will say the vampires in this show, as well as Buffy, their power seems to wax and wane quite a bit for me. Like, there's a scene in one of the episodes with the invisible girl played by Clea Duvall, where Buffy's tied to a chair, and she has to like I don't know how to say this, finger, but she has to like finger the tray towards her, and then gets like a little knife and like starts kind of cutting these like really, like, they're not even that big of ropes, and it's like, you can't bust through those. like, with all your fucking power, like, she's so strong, she's able to do, like, she's like a superhero. But she can't break ropes.
And she isn't, like, she definitely gets stronger, like, as the seasons progress, and because she gets more training and more experience. But, like, they do draw attention. Like, she can't, like, you know, with the love demon episode, like, when they go to that facility, like, there's like a concrete or like a metal door or something that she's like, I can't rip it off, like, I can't just open it.
That's
like,
fine, but that's, I mean? Like, she's like, that's
but you're right.
thick steel. Like, as to where when
like
when like the like when Flutie, like, locks her in the school, and she literally, like, jumps over 10 feet into the air over the fence like it's nothing. She never does that again in the series, by the way, where she is able to basically fly. She jumps over a fence that's 10 feet tall like it's nothing. And then the rest of the show, we never see her jump like that. So that's a bit of an inconsistency there. That's what I'm saying, though.
Yeah.
It's like she can jump over a 10-foot fence, but she can't break through a rope that's this thick.
I agree. I do think that the power of her as the Slayer, and then also the vampires, it does kind of, like,
it's inconsistent.
It is inconsistent because sometimes it's used for, like, humor's sake.
Yeah.
And then other times it's just used as, like, a plot, like, well, we need her to not break out of this for, you know, whatever.
Sure. Plot
which is, you know, like, definitely, I mean, yeah, I don't know. It is what it is, really, but
there's an unaired pilot presentation that's 25 minutes long. I don't know where you could possibly get your hands on this. I don't even know what episodes like that are, because they have Buffy and Xander and Cordelia and Willow, played by a girl named Riff Reagan, not Allison Hannigan.
That's weird.
So that's super odd. All the other actors are the same from what I can see. Nope, actually, Flutie's played by a different actor, the guy from Groundhog Day.
Huh.
Ned Ryerson is the character's name. Ned the Head. Remember? Mm-hmm. Ned Ryerson. Anyway. I've seen that movie too many times. Weird. I always see these episodes when I look at shows where there's these unaired pilots, which I guess is like just kind of a proof of concept.
Yeah.
They take them to Fox or whatever, and they're like, here's like what we have an idea of. Can we get a greenlit show? But then the next episode that they make is also called the pilot, typically. Which I've never understood that. There's like an unaired pilot, then a pilot. And you're like, I thought the pilot was just to try to get the show to get to air. So I don't understand that. Although this one isn't. This first episode is actually called Welcome to the Hell Not Mouth, not pilot. So anyway, that's kind of just an introduction to everybody. We get to know the Master, which is played by Mark Metcalf, who is the guy I know from being the dad from the Twisted Sister videos. What do you want to do with your life?
I had no idea that was him. He's got so much prosthetics on.
And then Brian Thompson, of course, from X-Files as well.
Yeah, we were like, oh, here he's back.
He gets eliminated very easily. Somehow he falls at the bronze. Buffy breaks the window and is like, you forgot about daylight.
And he's like,
or sunrise. And he's like, and she's like, it's in 8 hours or something. Like, how the fuck did he get so lost? I mean, I guess when you always are indoors.
Yeah, and also because, like,
you never see the sun.
Die with the sun, so.
Yeah. He thinks, I mean, I guess I could fall for it. I think it's funny.
I really liked that.
That happens in The Harvest, which is the second episode. That's when, the whole freaking bronze gets taken over.
Yes.
And somehow no one remembers it. Then The Witch, episode 3.
This is one of my favorite episodes of this season. I really like this episode because also, like, it comes back later on. Mm-hmm. Right, so I really enjoy that. But yeah, I don't know. I just like this one. I like that it's like a witch. Like, I like that we go from vampires to like an evil witch, and that it's this, like, you know, mom that's obsessed with like, obviously stealing her daughter's life.
She just wants to, like, relive her glory days of being, and she's like, I don't know, she's not even, because she takes over her daughter.
Yeah,
like,
she takes
once
over
she's
her
like
daughter.
Failing at making the team. Right? It's not her the whole time.
Well, I didn't think so, but there is, like, a comment where she's like, something about it being months, so I'm like, I don't know what the time
that doesn't make sense
is.
to me, because if she's this really great cheerleader, then why is she, like, third in line on the call sheet.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't think that's the case. I think her daughter tries and then she like takes over her. That's the way that I like to look at it.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, I just think it's a good episode. I like the ending too. I think it's pretty creepy, like that her mom is just like trapped in
a trophy.
In the trophy statue. It's scary.
Well, I mean, it's kind of like it's supposed to be like you know, careful what you wish for.
Yeah, like
right?
Here you are.
Now she's in a high school cheerleader position forever.
Yeah.
It would be cool if randomly, like one episode in the future, like somebody goes and looks at the trophy and we still see her face like in there.
That would be really cool.
Years later.
Yeah.
That would be very cool stuff. I would love to pick that stuff. And and someone kind of looks at it like, did I just see? And then somebody like gets their attention and they like put it down and walk away.
Yeah.
That would be cool. Episode 4, Teacher's Pet. This actually would be a good segue here because this deals with the boys in their class wanting to fuck their teacher and them being invited over, which would be like the easiest thing ever to have some hot teacher who's, trying to fuck their students, which was actually quite a thing in the 90s. Actually, there was a lot of like pregnant teachers from fucking their students. But keep shaking your head because you also are a party to this with what you're into here because Spike as well as Angel are like just significantly older, and we've talked about this plenty of times.
The only way it works is because this is a fantasy, because this is not reality.
Yeah.
But if vampires were real, or if there was a human that could live to be 240 years old, then no way in hell should they be dating a 16-year-old.
No one has a problem with it in the show. No one mentions the age gap.
They say it jokingly, like Buffy mentions it jokingly, like you've got 220 whatever years on me or something.
Well, yeah, somebody says he's 240, and she's like, well, he did say he was older.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like a joke, which is fine. Like, it's fine. But it is kind of like, like, what do you mean? That's significant.
It's just the aesthetics. That's all it comes down to. This really just shows us that people don't actually care when it looks right. When they're like, oh, well, they look the same age, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And it's like, if this guy looked his age, which no one looks 240, but even if, I don't know, he could look my age and be 20 and people would have a problem with it. Or he could look her age and be my age internally and people wouldn't have a problem with it. It's fucking weird.
Yeah.
It's definitely it's a blind spot to people. And there's so much fantasy. All vampire stories seem to be this.
Oh yeah, they're always like it's an ancient vampire.
It's some
who's in love with like a 20-year-old or
this girl's 16.
Whatever.
It's always some really young girl.
Yeah.
Any human would be too young for them. Period.
Anyone, yeah.
But especially an underage girl. Like, you want to talk about a guy who's a pedophile.
This is just supposed to be, again, like that fantasy of, like, like a powerful ancient being, right? Like, there's the power dynamic and everything. But, like, yeah, as we said, like, in reality, like, it would not actually be okay. Like, it would be really weird if there was somebody that old that was, like, interested in you and you're like, like, I haven't even been around for, like, a quarter of your life. Not even close.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's nobody seems to... I mean, Xander has a problem with it, but it's out of jealousy.
100%.
More than anything, which is very, like, it's Xander being Xander. But this episode is funny because, yeah, all the dudes are just, like... so into this science teacher, and it's really sad because like the original science teacher, I don't remember his name.
Oh yeah.
But he gives Buffy this really awesome, like great teacher speech where he's just like, "You're smart. I know you are. Like, let's not give them like a reason to think you aren't," and like blah blah blah.
Let's not worry about the past.
Yeah, like a total like pep talk where he's just like, "Do the reading, like do your homework, like let's work hard." And she like you can tell she really appreciates it because like everybody at the school so far, like including her mom, like all the teachers, the principal and everyone, like they're all treating her like a criminal, and she feels so like out of place and just like nobody believes in me, like they all think I'm a bad person, a bad student, bad kid, and like this is like kind of the first adult aside from maybe Giles, but he doesn't really do that to her yet, like her who like believes in her, and then
Yeah.
he gets killed, and it's sad.
He's like, from my memory, I can't really remember. I think he's like in his 60s or something. Like, he's an older guy, right?
Yeah.
The teacher.
Yeah, he is.
In this, Dr. Gregory. I think that's it. I'm pretty sure. He's like in his 50s or 60s.
Yeah, it's him.
So, like, imagine him and Buffy fucking.
Right.
And you being like, that's disgusting. He's a fucking pervert. He's a pedophile. And he is 1/5 the age
I know.
of Angel.
Yeah.
So it really, but if that guy was in the body, like you took literally his brain out and put it in the body of Angel, people would be like, fine.
Yeah.
It's anyway, moving on. Although I should mention, because we're talking about love interests here with Xander and whatnot. So obviously we have Xander, who's like in love with Buffy. This is the love triangle, right? You got Willow, who's in love with Xander, who's in love with Buffy, and Buffy, who's in love with Angel, and Angel, who's in love with Buffy. So theirs is complete, but they have the outside forces coming in. And number one, I know he's a 16-year-old boy. This is the frustrating aspect of the show, but like, Willow is so obviously in love with him, and he is so mind-numbingly oblivious to it that it's insane. Now, granted, you know, she said that they broke up when they were like 5. So they've known each other since they were babies. So I'm sure to him, that's like sister.
Yeah.
Like it's not that territory for him at all. His brain is completely disconnected from that ever happening. But she makes it so obvious that she's into him. Like beyond obvious. And he is such an asshole about it. And it really annoys me. Especially since, you know, I think Willow is the cutest fucking thing imaginable. And I can't imagine anybody not being into her. But it's like Buffy literally throughout the series, especially in this first season when it matters, shows less than zero interest in him. Never one time for even 1 second is there any moment where Buffy gives him any indication that she could possibly be into him in any way, shape, or form. This is 100% on him. And all about aesthetics.
Yeah, it's just she's the new girl in town.
Connection.
She's like this hot blonde girl. Like, yeah, he's just. I mean, they have a friendship
that's a
for
16-year-old
sure.
boy.
Yeah, they
That's
have
how
a
they
friendship. You know, there's definitely that. Because you know, Buffy even says to him like later on when he tries to ask her out to the dance, like that she's considers him like a best friend. And her and Willow have like kind of conversations throughout. Because like Willow knows he's into Buffy, obviously. And, you know, Buffy's very much, like, you know, on Willow's side. Like, she's not into Xander at all.
No.
So it's heartbreaking, because then, yeah, like, you know, we have the episode that I mentioned earlier with the love demon where, like, Willow has, you know, the online, like, suitor that she's talking to and is so excited about.
Yeah.
And, you know, her, like, love life in this series...
Well, she dates Owen, who's not a match for her at all. I can't even get the read on that guy. That's episode 5, Never Kill a Boy on a First Date.
I don't like that guy at all.
I don't either. He becomes like an adrenaline junkie in the end.
Yeah, like his whole thing.
He's like, we should go to a bar and start a fight.
He's so pretentious.
Yeah.
For so much of it. And like they're so not a match. Like he's like saying he reads Emily Dickinson and she doesn't even know who that is, and she's like kind of trying to read it and like be like, hey, I'm into what you're into. She's not into what he's into, but I don't even think he's into what he's into. I think he just likes to look like he's smart.
I agree.
And then like, yeah, I think his true colors come out where it's just like, yeah, he becomes like an adrenaline junkie because they're doing like crazy things.
Well, they get in the predicament at the funeral home. And then he gets like knocked out, and then he comes to, and then he's like, I'm excited, that excites me. And then she's like, I'm out. Yeah. He's beyond not a match. That's just, I think he's just supposed to be in there as like a plot point.
And
like,
I think it's,
you know, she's trying to date, she's young, whatever.
I don't remember if it's at the end of this episode or it might be at the end of the Teacher's Pet one. I think it's this one though, where they're all, like, sitting outside, and they're like, ha ha ha, like, we're just gonna be, like, lonely forever, or, like, sad lonely, and they all, like, laugh very, like, awkwardly, and then they're, like, silent for a minute.
I think it might be It might be this one.
I love that scene so much because it's so true. Like, all of them have such messed up relationships as the show goes on.
Yeah.
And it's so funny that they, like, kind of, like, predict that for themselves.
Yeah.
And, like, have that, like, moment of realization, like, oh, that might be right. Because, yeah, for Buffy, this is kind of the first time where she's like, I actually can't date, like, a civilian. Like, I can't date, like, a normal person.
No,
because
she can't.
Her whole reasoning is, like, he's gonna die. Like, he's gonna want to be with me when I'm, like, vampire hunting, and he's gonna get killed.
Yeah.
And it's true. Like, the only reason that Willow and Xander can, like, be with her, like, they don't want to die. They don't have a death wish. And half the time, they're not really with her. They're, like, very much like, we'll do the research, we'll do whatever. And then sometimes they come in and, like, are physically, like, trying to help.
They're emotional support.
Yeah. But she's the, like, brawn of the group, for sure.
Yeah. Moving into the pack, this is the episode where the hyenas take over.
This is a great episode, too.
This is a crazy episode because the students literally eat a teacher.
They eat their principal.
Eat the principal,
which is wild.
So Principal Flutie goes away. He's gone, and we get a new principal after that.
Yeah.
Schneider.
Yeah.
Principal Schneider. It replaces Flutie because he was literally eaten by students.
So crazy.
How the fuck do you have this school?
Okay,
crazy.
but they're like, it wasn't students. They're like, they think it
Oh,
was
yeah,
a
they
pack
think it was
of
a pack of
wild
animals.
dogs or something, and it's like,
so many people die at this school.
no way. You would do like an autopsy, like, these are human bite marks. These are not dogs. Like, they don't grow fangs. They still have their human teeth. Like, any guy would be like, that's not a wild animal.
Xander also has to live with the memory of eating a pig while alive.
Yeah, it's awful.
Terrible.
He's so awful in this episode.
That's like the thing that always stuck with me after this episode. For years, I had remembered it that he also ate Flutie.
Yeah, which would have been
like he's living with that the rest of the show. That's crazy. But no, he's not there for that, and he just ate the pig. But that would be brutal.
Yeah.
And he has to remember it, and he's like makes Giles swear to secrecy that because he lies to the girls and says that he doesn't remember anything, which is kind of fucked up.
Yeah.
Because he should be honest with them.
Yeah.
He's mad when they're not honest with him. Then I think the Angel episode, I think, is maybe the one where Darla tricks Buffy into believing that Angel attacked her mom.
Yes. This is good. This is really good.
Yeah.
He, like, sleeps over at her house, and then, like, they have this whole moment when they kiss, and he, like, gets too excited, and so he, like, turns into his face was all ugly, and she, like, freaks out and screams. Love that. That's a great trope in vampires, like, where they, like, get sexually aroused or something, and their, like, animal side comes out. Like, that's obviously a big appeal. But it is kind of funny, though, when it happens here for some reason to me. And yeah, I really like the drama and the tension of her thinking that he's, like, because it literally is the worst timing. She, like, throws her mom at him. Yeah. With the puncture wounds.
Of course.
And he's in his vampire face. And then Buffy walks in and is like, awful. Just the worst timing.
And Giles actually, to his credit, he actually runs out to save Angel.
Yeah.
From Buffy, even though he's kind of one of the people that's like, no, you can't be with a fucking vampire. But they all, Giles is on board with it pretty well. He doesn't really question her choices too much, and he runs out to help. So
I don't know if it's this episode or if we find out earlier, but, like, Angel, like, at this point, like, he has a soul. He gets cursed by a gypsy. Mm-hmm. So that he, like, has had a soul for the last 100 years. So he's kind of been, like, he's not a vegetarian vampire, but he doesn't eat, like, live humans anymore. Of
course. This is always classic.
Yeah. And, like, the way he describes it, too, is, like, so when people turn into vampires, their souls leave, and then a demon inhabits their body, which is interesting because it's, like, the demon, but, like, they're still them. Like, they still have their memories, kind of. Yeah. But they're, like, evil.
They're aware they just can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which sucks. Because, you would. Your brain holds all your memories.
Right.
So the demon takes over, and it's like it has access to your memories and who you are, your personality, can emulate you and put new memories in your brain. But then when you take back over, you just have the memories of what the demon did with your body.
Yeah. So he has a lot of... Yeah, he's got so much
But he can't really
guilt.
blame himself for what a demon did.
But he can, though, because he's still, like... it was me.
If he was doing,
Like,
if he was that
doing
upset
it.
though, he could stake himself. He
That's
could
true.
lay out in the sun,
That's
right? Like at any point, Angel could just lay out in a field and wait for sunrise. So he doesn't care that much.
Yeah.
Like if he really wants to die, then he could die at any moment. It's very easy to kill a vampire. If you're a vampire, you just lay out in the sun, you're good. Or stake yourself or whatever. Swallow some garlic and a crucifix. iRobot, you Jane. This is the Willow episode with her
Great
chat
one.
buddy. It's fun.
I like it.
The puppet
this is where
show.
we have like Miss Calendar too, so we have all this really good dialogue between her and Giles and stuff.
Yeah, so many babes in this show.
Oh yeah,
all the girls are
so cute.
so good looking. The puppet show. This is kind of. It's funny. Every single time any horror show ever does a puppet thing, it's always a kid in front of his school and he's bombing on stage, and then the puppet starts making fun of him, and
Yeah.
everyone starts clapping, and then he continues to keep going off stage, and people are like, okay, the joke's over, like real funny, and it's like, hey, that's not me, and they're like, yeah, okay. It's the same thing every single time.
It's always the same thing. If this actually happened, I would know. I would know. If somebody got on stage and they were bombing and then all of a sudden, in a totally different voice, being like mean to them, I would be like, that's
possessed.
Not him. That's a demon. I would know. I pride myself on that.
The puppet's supposed to be like inhabited by an older, like, demon hunter man from like 100 years ago or something. Like he's been doing this for a long time. Once again, another moment here where he like looks over at Buffy and he's like remarking on her and her looks and being like, you know, she's this, that, and nubile, and he's like,
he's like super horny
for her, a 16-year-old girl, and this
like,
guy's like 100.
gross.
He's just like, so the horny dummy act isn't a like act. And he's like, no.
I love this episode too. I think it's got a great setup where you think that the dummy is like going to be the evil thing,
killer,
and then it ends up not being it. And just the whole talent show stuff is really funny with Cordelia like singing so horribly, and the fact that Giles has to be the guy in charge of it is also really funny to me. Like, why is it Giles?
The convenience, though, that Giles is dumb enough to get his head in.
Oh yeah, that one was very much like
a
Giles.
Guillotine.
Especially after they're literally like, he's going after a brain. Like they need the smartest person, and everyone like thinks it's Willow because she could like do the square root of like some insane number. And then they're like, oh wait, Giles is really smart, and then he's like, huh? Like, yeah, it's pretty silly.
It's kind of counterintuitive to what's set up. It's like, oh, he's brilliant, and then it's like there's a demon looking for brains.
Yeah.
And then Giles sees the guy even demonstrates the guillotine for him.
Yeah, on like a melon or something.
All you have to do is have the guy knock him out and throw him on the guillotine and strap him down.
Yeah.
Right? Like, getting Giles to actually sit down. Like, I know he's trying to be the good teacher and he's worried that he's going to look bad and he needs him for the act and whatever. But realistically, Giles is someone who's supposed to be putting it on. So he'd be like, you need to find a student. Like, I can't do this.
Yeah.
But him getting into a guillotine that he sees works is just asinine to me.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, how dumb can you possibly be? So I actually think that's a bit of an insult to Giles' character because he's not dumb at all.
Yeah.
And that actually makes him seem stupid. Anyway, and then the dummy, like when it kills the demon, it literally dies as it does, which is pretty sad.
It's really sad.
And then the curtains open and
oh my god,
principal's like,
he's like, I don't get it.
What is it?
Avant-garde or something?
Yeah.
Because they're all just like.
So I guess that's their act.
It's so funny.
This is the Monsters Inc. scene, right? Put that thing back where it comes from, or so help me.
Yeah.
So help me. It's a musical. It's a work in progress. Anyway, yeah, I don't know what they ended up doing. Like, what? It's always funny when shows end like that, and then you go like in your head, like, okay, what happened after that?
Yeah, like,
though?
what did you guys do? You're just like, that's it, and then like walked off stage.
Yeah, it's an art piece.
Crazy.
It's called Dead Dummy. Because they cut the head off of a demon.
Yeah.
It's literally in full demon form.
It's full demon there, but
like that body had to be disposed of. This isn't a vampire where they stake it and it turns to dust.
It's just there.
Like, Giles and them had to, like, what? Burn that body down in the basement? Or, like, what'd they do with that body after that?
It's a good question.
Anyway. Next episode is Nightmares, which
is a good one, too. All these are really good. Kind
of reminded me a bit of Dr. Sleep.
Yeah, a little bit, especially with the baseball kid.
The baseball, but, well, that's the only thing. You're like, especially with, no. That is the
baseball
thing.
Kid.
Baseball boy
Lucky 19
is very reminiscent to me of, the kid in Dr. Sleep who wears the hat, kills, which is one of the more brutal scenes recently, even though it's not, like, vicious and, like, gory or anything.
Well, it is vicious.
Devastating.
Yeah.
I should say, it's not gory or anything. Yeah. It's just super upsetting.
Yeah. This is a good one. All their nightmares come
everybody's
true. Nightmares. Xander's naked. Willow has to sing opera, which
I was hoping it would be the opposite.
I know.
Yeah.
But her nightmare had me cracking up.
Yeah. She's like, ah! Why she even tries.
Why she even tries is, like, just the funniest thing to me.
Yeah.
And then, oh my god, the nightmare that Buffy has with her dad being like, You're the reason we're getting I got a divorce, and, like, I don't get anything out of these weekends, and oh my god, it's, like, so sad and awful.
The good thing,
her dad's, like, awesome. He comes and he's so happy to see her, and he's like, come on, sweetheart, like.
And am I crazy, or is this not the last time we ever see the guy?
I don't remember ever seeing him again, to be honest. But there has to be some mention of him maybe somewhere, like, oh, he just moved wherever or something.
Because there's got to be an explanation.
Be another episode because, it's the stepdad.
Well, not just the stepdad, but also, spoilers for the rest of the seasons. If you haven't seen them, you might want to cover your ears for this or shut this off. But when her mother dies, you would think she would go to live with her dad. And maybe that's mentioned. It's been a long time.
I think she's
18.
yes.
Right.
I don't think she's
you're right. Because I think it happens in season 5.
When she's at college, I think.
The last episode, like
she's
somewhere towards the end of season 4. Because doesn't her sister come in season 5?
I can't wait for that.
I can't wait for the girls' reactions.
To be like, what are you talking about? She's never had a sister. So funny.
They, like, rewrite. I forget how it even happens. But, like, somebody, like, rewrites history for her to have a sister.
Yeah.
Well, don't remind me.
Don't remind you.
Because that is one thing I can't remember how she comes around.
Like,
it does suck because
we...
real quick before we get into the last couple episodes here, it has been confirmed and casted for the first couple people that Buffy the Vampire Slayer is getting a reboot with Sarah Michelle Gellar. Now, Sarah Michelle Gellar just recently said something that I'll have to read the interview, but the headline made it sound really fucking stupid, where she said, I want everyone from the past to come back for the show, even if they're dead. Like, the characters. And I was like, no. What do you mean? What are you talking about?
I don't
know. But Michelle Trachtenberg, who played her sister in the show, just recently died. So that's a huge shame. Because I would have loved to see her. So what do you do with that? Do you recast her?
Yeah.
I think you can recast her because it's been like so many years
and
that she would look different anyway.
I can't even talk about the thing. But yeah. We'll see.
Yeah. But anyway. And then episode 11, Out of Sight, Out of Mind. This is the Invisible Girl episode. This one's fine. It's,
they're training, or, like, this is, like, a phenomenon that's happening in, like, every school.
Yeah.
And then they take them to be, like, assassins.
Yeah, she's like, oh, cool. She's, like, actually into it.
Oh, yeah, she's
in
like,
the end.
Yeah, infiltration and assassination.
Yeah.
I guess it makes sense. She's got a lot of anger in her. I mean, the scene when, like, Cordelia's gang, like, with Harmony, and, like, they, like, walk up to her, like, at the sink, and they're, like, literally, like, including her in the circle.
Oh, my God.
And they're talking, and she's like, yeah, did you see his toupee? And then Harmony's like, we're having a conversation here.
Yeah.
And then Cordelia literally repeats the exact same thing that she said. Bro, I'm like, how do you do that to somebody?
And
like,
even
Cordelia,
the teachers.
Even the teacher ignores her.
And then her hand starts to disappear because no one notices her.
Yeah, it's really sad, actually. But then she becomes evil from it.
Yeah.
So that sucks. But, I mean, sometimes that happens.
I don't condone her doing terrible things, but, like, I understand her frustration.
Yeah.
But you gotta just find your group. There's always a group in school that you can bond with and make friends with. There's always gonna be a friend group for someone. So she just wasn't trying hard enough. Like, why the fuck would she want to be friends with Cordelia Chase?
It's just like everyone wants to be friends with the popular kids or whatever.
Fuck that.
But yeah,
I
no
didn't.
way.
Not even remotely.
But that's always what it is in these shows.
Yeah. And lastly, we got the Prophecy Girl, which is our season finale. The good thing about this is that the next season we can like just talk about like kind of episodes. We already kind of gave our overall thoughts, and any new characters and whatever, we can talk about those. But I was thinking like, oh my god, this took so long to do 12 episodes, but we talked for like 30 minutes before we even got to the episode. So this is a better way to do this. We don't have to talk about every single little thing.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're not going to be covering another season for a while because we watch this with our kids.
Yeah.
They're only here half the week. They don't like watching too much in a row. We are watching this on Hulu.
Oh my god.
And it has ads at every commercial break, so it feels kind of like the 90s again. It
does,
because we have commercials at commercial breaks.
Yeah.
And Tubi fixed the ad block thing that everyone was like, just put Tubi on like ad blockers on your computer and it'll take out the ads. Well, supposedly Tubi fixed that.
Yeah.
If you got counter evidence to that and you can actually give us Tubi without ads, that'd be great. But yeah, we in this house now have start singing medical drug ads to each other. So Nimluvio,
that's our favorite,
is a big song in this house now.
Yeah,
because of these fucking ads.
Our
Ebglis.
Our computers and television and phones.
They think we have psoriasis.
They know we have eczema. They know we have skin conditions. And
I don't have eczema. I have irritable skin.
I have eczema.
But yeah, okay. So lastly here, Prophecy Girl, sponsored by Nimluvio. Nimluvio, sorry.
Nimluvio.
Yeah, I mean, this is just kind of like the foretelling of Buffy's prophecy, which Giles doesn't stumble upon until this happens.
Well, it's because he doesn't have the book. Like,
right,
Angel
this is the one where Angel gets
him.
for him. Okay, that's
so
right.
he hasn't had it,
That's
and
right.
then he's like, all the prophecies in this book come true. Like, nothing else. Like, the other ones are, like, easy to they're not set in stone, but, like, these are. And he's, like, freaking out about it.
Oh, he's devastated.
And it sucks because then, like, Buffy, like, stumbles upon them and, like, hears them talking and kind of, has a very realistic, believable meltdown over it where she's
really
like,
does.
I do not want to die. Like, I'm 16 years old.
Yeah.
I didn't pick this. Like,
I quit.
Like, fine. Like, the world's going to end.
Yeah.
So sad and heartbreaking and so believable.
Her best performance of the season.
Yeah. But Giles is like, he wasn't gonna send her to that. He was like, I can't. Like, Buffy can't die.
He loves her. Without question.
And their relationship, I like the development of it, because Giles really becomes a father for her. And, it's great. But, yeah, Buffy, puts on her pretty dress. And everybody loves it. It's a big hit with everyone. Everyone is like, I like your dress. Which is cute.
Yeah. And, she's supposed to go to the dance, and then she goes to fight. And then, obviously, as I said, Xander is the reason why she's alive. He's the one who has the breath to save her.
Yeah.
But she doesn't really fight back against the Master much before he kills her. He kind of takes her down pretty easily. But then when she comes back, she's talking about, like, how much better she feels. How much more she feels, and then she kind of easily defeats him in return. So I think she maybe even kind of gets some vampire power here, but she does become stronger. Mm-hmm. This, of course, calls Faith up to be the next Slayer, and we'll be meeting her next season. Another babe and a half. Yeah. This show just has a plethora of them, and so many great characters to come, from Anya to Tara. We got Oz. Oz is wonderful. So many great characters to come. So many good moments. And then, yeah, we actually thought that this season ended with the introduction of Spike. But it's probably the opening of season 2 where, like, he's the guy coming that was, like, he's hired to kill Buffy, right? Or he's, like, the new threat in town. I thought he was,
he's, like, the next big
called
bad,
upon
but...
to take Buffy down, I thought. He pulls up in his car.
I think he's just coming to the Hellmouth, like, to party. But I don't remember entirely, like, the reason he comes into town. But yeah, I totally misremembered how this season ended. I thought it did end with him for some reason, like, because, yeah, it doesn't, obviously. So we'll talk about him when we see him.
Yeah, I mean, I would be beyond shocked if he's not in the next season. He's gotta be. Because the next big bad I'm kind of
mixing, like, season 2 and 3 in my brain, so...
It's not Adam. I don't think Adam is till season 3. The, like, robot guy. Season 2 villain is...
I thought Adam was 4.
Is that 4? Season 4 is where things really get good. That's where Hush,
my favorite
the
seasons
Gentleman,
are
Hush,
5 and 6.
It's fucking great. 5
For
is
sure.
Once More with Feeling.
Yeah, 5 and 4. Sorry, I meant 4 and 5 are my favorite episodes. Our favorite seasons.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about the next season. Hopefully, not too long, because I definitely if we weren't watching it with the kids, I'd just be like, we'll get to it in like a week.
Oh yeah,
we'd be like blowing through them
pretty quick.
But we are watching it with the kids.
Yeah, I'm enjoying watching.
I think they're
the
enjoying it too.
And we'll check out Angel.
Yes, that's a plan.
Probably after Buffy, to be honest. We were considering watching it like with Buffy.
Yeah.
But I don't really want to. I just want to stay focused on Buffy.
And I'm also wondering too, like, because if the show is more adult, it might not be appropriate for the kids.
Let us know.
I guess I don't know what the more adult means.
How much naked kissing is there?
Yeah, I mean, they can, handle a decent amount of, like, scary stuff, but...
I always remember, though, because I remember being pretty shocked about it, because this was on, like, network television. There's a scene, and I think it's in season 7, where Buffy and Spike are in, like, the back alley behind a building. And he has her pushed up against a wall and is fucking her. And I was like, whoa.
They're like big sex scene.
And she's like not even that into it. She's kind of just sitting there as he's like pumping her. And I was like,
she gets like
that's going to be a scene that I'm like, oh boy, here we go with the kids.
There's like a few times where they have like things where it's like she isn't really herself, but then they do also have sex. Like, full-on sex when, like, the building is falling down. Like, that's the one I remember. It's pretty raunchy. The later seasons definitely get a little bit more adult. So, yeah, I don't know with the kids. That might be not great to watch with them. But I don't really know how to, like... I don't know. We'll just be like... Don't look. Like that. That's
she can do that.
Covering their eyes. So.
Alright, so that's that. Buffy the Vampire Slayer Season 1. This is the way we should have done X-Files, but we didn't, and we apologize. But I know some people were really enjoying the individual breakdowns, and it would have been fun to do it that way. I just know no one's going to care. I'm not doing it again. I can't do it again. It destroyed our channel. We got like less than 100 views per video. And also,
we don't love all the episodes, so it was like annoying to talk about some of them.
There were some I literally had nothing to say about them.
Yeah.
That's not the case with this show. I would much rather talk about this show episode to episode.
I think if we did episode to episode with this, I'd actually have a good amount to say about each one.
I agree.
But that's all right. It's better for us time-wise, too, anyway, to do 100%. By season. So, 100%. Yeah.
So what do you guys think? Have you watched the show? It's all on Tubi if you don't have Hulu. If you want to check out some episodes, if you've never watched it, definitely check it out. And what are your favorite episodes? What are your favorite seasons?
Favorite characters?
What do you think about Angel, the show, and the character?
Yes. Have you read the comics?
Oh yeah, that's another thing.
In the comics.
There's a comic series that goes from season 8 past the show to season 12. I only knew about season 8. I thought they only did season 8. And then I come to find out, looking it up right now, that there's season 9, 10, 11, and 12 as well in comic form. And, you know, they were worked on by Joss Whedon from what I can tell. So supposedly they're supposed to be like legit, true to life canon seasons to the show, but comic book form. And I know that like season 8 has like the 43 comics, so it's like hefty. So it's kind of crazy. Like there's actually like so many seasons beyond the show in comic form. Will the TV show reboot acknowledge the show, the comics? Like what do you think will happen with that? We'll find out. I'm super curious. I know that there's a new Slayer. I remember in season 7 that Buffy like rounds up all of the potential Slayers that were gonna be called on and starts like protecting them, because like the vampires start going after anybody who could turn into a Slayer in the event of Buffy's death, because Buffy has like, I don't know if it's faith, because remember there's like the Jamaican girl as well. So anyway,
we'll get there.
I'm piecing together things. There's season 4, season 3 potentially, because I don't remember how far we went with the kids. But season 3 on, or whatever it is, I've only seen one time each episode, and every one of them was like when it aired 20 plus years ago. So my memory is like bad with it. Although it seems to be better than most. Like I've talked to people who watched the show like a year ago and they don't remember it as well as I do, which is fucking insane. Anyway, that's that. So, anything more on this season?
That's it. That's all for now.
So, Buffy.
Buffy.
Are you looking forward to the other seasons? There's only going to be 7 videos. As opposed to, what was there? 145. 145 or 7.
7's better.
7 is better. So, hopefully this is better. You guys like this style better, where we just do a whole season in one video?
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see the numbers. We'll see the comments. So, definitely comment. Definitely like, and then send us all your money, please. Just kidding. All right, guys.
Bye.